back at it. This is your boy Tony G. I'm gonna freestyle for you today. My name is Tony. I eat macaroni. I'm gonna say go me, and that's not even a word, but I'm gonna get an award for the thing that I'm gonna spit. That is gonna be a bit, and it's not gonna take a split second to go to a new rhythm. Because I'm going to, I don't know. Did you get the levels?
You're like a white Eminem, I gotta say.
The thing is that I'm like too white to even be a white rapper.
Too white to be white.
This, I hope you didn't record that, because that might be the whitest thing I've ever done in my life.
Okay, so we're recording now.
We're recording now. I just did a freestyle to test the levels, and I shall never rap again in my life.
Yeah, no, believe it. Yeah, of course I recorded it, dude.
You did?
Of course I did.
Fuck! I'm gonna.
The macaroni thing was funny.
I'm gonna keep it in then. You know, people deserve to hear my freestyle.
Well, I don't know if they deserve it, but
well, they deserve it because they're bad people. So this is their punishment.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I don't think they're that bad people. I don't think they're bad people.
Yeah.
But so you're doing impro. What it is that? Why do you want? Why do you do impro?
As soon as I started, I loved it, and then it's so strange and funny. But during the class, normally I'm such a clown, and I'm like, yeah, look at me, and get the spotlight on me, and I make a fool of myself. I'm loud, I'm out there, and then the teacher would be like, all right, guys, let's take 15-minute break, and then my head immediately goes down, and I go in the corner and talk to nobody. Yeah. And they're like, Tony, what the fuck? You're like two different people. Like when you perform, like something switches in your head, and you're suddenly like the main stage variety show clown, but otherwise you're just like a fucking loser. No, they didn't say that.
They didn't use the word, but you know that they meant that.
They meant it. Yeah, they actually used the word asshole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you just like,
I softened it to loser.
Took it down, right? You know that asshole is worse than loser. Well, is it? I don't know though. Is it?
Yeah, I guess. What would you rather be called, asshole or a loser?
I think asshole. Well, I don't know.
I'd rather be called a loser.
You would?
Because asshole implies that you're intentionally rude.
Yeah.
But loser, it's more almost like, well, you're down on your luck.
Yeah.
You're just a loser. But you're a nice guy.
Well, I don't know, man. I played Rainbow Six. Did you spill the coffee?
I spilled coffee all over my pants.
I'm sorry. It kind of ruined. I was just going in a bit.
You're going to open up about the childhood trauma.
Yeah. I was playing one day. I was playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow
Six. You know what? Everybody who's listening to this, we are not doing this in English because we wanna, be international. We're doing it in English because that's the only language we both know that we can communicate to each other. Since Tony's Bulgarian, I'm Finnish.
Unless we do it in Danish,
which we are also even both worse than in English.
Which would be a disaster.
Which would be even more disaster than in English. So just wanted to let you guys know.
So you're playing a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't matter what game it was, but this wasn't. And then somebody sent me a message after he had killed me. He sent me a message, private message, that had just the L letter in it, and I thought that it means loser, and it did feel bad.
Aww.
It did lead me in the situation where I went to the Microsoft and I disabled everybody's comments except my friends. No, that's actually not true. But I did disable them, but not because of him. Because in that specific game, I don't know why, but it is such a fucking salty environment. Everybody in that, not everybody, but a lot of people in that game just send you private messages and weird stuff like just, bad mouthing. And it's not funny. And I like to think that it's because most of the players are 12 years old. But I don't think that is the case. I think there are adult human beings who are sending you the private message after they have been killed, or they kill you and they say you, loser, learn how to play the game.
That's the whole stereotype, though, about the. See, I was gonna open up about childhood trauma. And
okay, here you go.
It's not nice. Why is
it's only that game, dude? Though
I was about to ask you.
It's only that game.
Yeah. Is there a game that you know of that actually has a very supportive community? Maybe if you play, people are like, "Hey, you'll get it next time."
Don't worry. Sure there is. I don't know such place because I'm just always like connected to my own friends, right? Mm-hmm. But in no other games, nobody else sends me like private messages afterwards.
But you have to go out of your way to send someone a private message.
That's the thing you do. You need to actually see some effort. to write somebody a private message
I just love
on
him.
Xbox.
I love imagining the process takes like 15 minutes. Like he gets to grab his backpack for a verification code, wait a little bit. It's like this whole thing just to send you out.
Yeah. And sometimes they are like long sentences. They are describing very like specifically how they're gonna have sex with my mother and how she's gonna enjoy it and stuff like that. And you're like, dude, just take it easy, man.
Do you think it's the anonymity? As in, like, you don't know
Sure.
who I am, so there's no consequences for me. Like, what if people were required to validate their identities when they make those accounts?
Yeah.
So you can see, oh, it's Richard Johnson with his profile photo, and he works at a bank.
Right.
Then
Yeah.
maybe people wouldn't be like that.
For sure.
Mm.
You know, I on purpose I killed this topic
Thanks for listening.
because it's so talked topic. I think about exactly that one. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
I don't want to go into it. That's why I killed it.
It's a good topic for the movie podcast,
Which we are doing right now. Exactly. Speaking about movies, that was a very good segue, dude.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna kill your topic, and I'm gonna choose my own topic, and
Please.
I'm gonna force you to talk about it. First of all, I'm gonna start with 10-minute monologue because I love my voice so much. You suggested that I should listen Conan O'Brien's podcast, which I have done.
The one and only, the best, Conan.
Yeah, you're a very big fan of Conan.
Yes.
Can you say why?
He, first of all, he's genuinely hilarious. Like, he's, I think, objectively funny. Even though humor is subjective, I don't care. He's,
Okay.
in my opinion, the funniest person in the world.
It's too long already, dude. Cut it down.
I'm gonna cut it to 2 words. Conan, funny. But probably the reason why I'm such a big fan of him even more is because of everything outside of his comedy. He's incredibly smart, and he actually pretends to be, silly and dumb and everything, and asshole sometimes for the comedy bit. But also his personality, his mindset, his attitude towards life. Because I've listened to a lot of his talks when he's out speaking to students or having a more serious interview, and then when you hear how he actually thinks about things, that's when you realize, okay, this guy is not just incredibly funny, incredibly smart, but he's incredibly humble.
Right.
And realistic about life.
I have been watching his talk show when it was on air, and I did love it, and I've always liked him. I just haven't heard about him for many years now, and I didn't know about this podcast. And I feel like now, the more I've been listening to it, the more I have kind of got into it. And whatever I'm gonna say in this episode, here's the funny thing, which is so funny. Everything that I'm going to say in this episode is pretty much something that I've heard somebody else said in podcast that they have heard somebody else say. But it was just like there has been so many awesome things that Conan O'Brien or his guests have said that has very, stuck with me.
Like what?
Like, for example, Conan O'Brien, he himself, he said that when he was young, he met John Candy. Do you know that?
Which you like a lot, right?
He's my favorite actor.
Because he reminds you of your dad.
Yes.
I listen to the
You
podcast.
listen, you remember that. Yeah, that's true. He is my favorite actor, not only because he reminds me of my dad, but he reminds me of my dad. But despite of that, he's also my favorite actor.
Yeah.
And Conan O'Brien said that I think this was before he was anyway famous. I think he was like in high school or something. The point is that he met John Candy, and then they were just talking, and Conan O'Brien mentioned to John Candy that, yeah, like, I don't know, I like comedy. I think, like, I could do something, I might want to do comedy when I'm big, or something like that, along those lines. And then John Candy, this is what Conan O'Brien said in the podcast, and then John Candy said to him that you don't do comedy because you want to, you do it because you need to.
Ooh.
And that's just fucking stuck with me. And that's a segue to the point that I feel like the more deeper I go into comedy, not to comedy myself, but like the kind of listen people who are professionals in this, like professional comedy is one way or another. Actors, stand-up comedians, doesn't matter. Yeah. Writers. The more deeper I go into it, the more kind of like darkness there is. But not darkness, not necessarily in a bad negative way. It's more like just like the place it comes, like the more deeper you go into the comedy, you find out that it's not that funny. Like there's so much real deep things in there. And also, it's not just like telling funny jokes. You need to be smart. You need to be intellectual in so many different ways.
Yes.
Intelligent in so many different
This
ways.
is exactly one of the main points that I was going to talk about Conan, is that also doing improv made me realize that it's actually very underappreciated that in order to be witty and funny on the spot, you actually can reference only as much things as you know. So your source of information, like everything in your brain, you need to have it accessible at all times to make the right joke at the right moment. And you can only do that by learning a lot, knowing stuff, knowing history, knowing science and business and references and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
So you actually need to be smart
exactly.
to be a good comedian.
Right. And it doesn't end up there. Because, okay, you know that. But then, what is the way I'm gonna say these things? Because you can use so many different words. You can structure the sentence in so many different ways to say the same thing. So it very much depends on which word you decide to use to tell that story, in which order, which words you emphasize, the delivery also.
The delivery is so important.
It's so fucking important, and the tone and everything. There's so much to it. It's not enough that you just come up with a funny thing to say. There's so much to more into it as well.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I love when sometimes they get into analyzing their comedy. It's so fascinating for me to listen.
Yeah, but when you perform and people laugh, something like you said, it's a fucking great
a drug
feeling. It's a drug, right?
It is a drug.
Great feeling.
Being there and saying something with your chest and gets the whole house laughing.
God damn.
That's a drug.
That's a fucking
and
drug.
that maybe that it boils down to that. It's like once you've got a hit of that drug, hard to beat it.
It's so awesome. It is such a nice feeling. And dangerous.
Yeah.
Which is another segue that I would like to talk about.
Smooth.
Thanks, man. BJ Novak in Conan O'Brien's. He was a guest. I don't know if you have heard the episode.
I probably have. Is it the recent or old?
It's not that recent.
Okay, I've probably heard it. I've listened to pretty much
You
every
probably
episode.
have heard anything.
Yeah.
Do you know who's BJ Novak?
It doesn't strike me immediately, but I've heard the name.
Okay. Well, he's I don't know what's his first. I think he's a writer first, but he's also he's just, I think he's like a executive producer in The Office, the American version.
Okay.
He's writer definitely. He's also an actor. He was acting Brian in The Office, and he also said some awesome things as well. He just said that he this is me quoting somebody that I heard in podcast that had heard somebody else say something. He had a talk with some, I don't remember who, but some director, and then BJ Novak was just quoting him saying that this was the best advice he got.
Okay.
When he asked advices when it comes to directing. The dude said that the only thing you need to know as a director is what you want and how to get it. And obviously everybody in Conan O'Brien's podcast was blown away, but so was fucking I. And this is me just quoting other people now, but it's very much stuck with me as well. Also because it doesn't only apply to directing, it applies so many different areas in your life.
What you want and how to get.
Right.
The how to get it part might be kind of difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, sometimes it's hard to know what you want either, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's exactly what...
But that's the true job of a director, right? Like, it needs to be the vision. It needs to be pointing the direction and steering the ship. So you have to be the guy with the answers.
Yeah.
Like, everyone will ask you questions. You have to know the answers.
Yeah. How do you feel, since you listen so much to different podcasts and you're very much into filmmaking and you love it, do you think you have this very romanticized picture of Hollywood?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. You know, I've been sometimes thinking how amazing would be to get invited to a premiere.
Yeah.
You know, like that. This is like on my wish list video to make a video about a premiere of a movie, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and it's not just enough to go visit Hollywood or California in general. It's more like being part of the little club they have, and I'm sure that once you would be inside, you'll be like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because you always hear about those stories like, I got a call. You know, I never get a call.
yeah.
Tarantino called me.
Yeah.
He wanted me to read a script.
Yeah.
You know, this kind of stories.
Yeah.
This don't happen here.
No.
Who would call us? I only get spam calls.
Yeah.
I get
It's not
telemarketers and I go, hello, Tarantino. Is that you? No, it's not Tarantino. Can you roleplay as Tarantino? And then I'll
Right,
listen
right.
to what you have to sell me.
That would be not.
That's called delusion and mental sickness. Yes.
Yes.
There's probably medicine for it. Did you end up watching Puss in Boots?
Oh no.
You
I,
have to.
Yeah, I did recommend it, or suggest my girlfriend, but she said like, who recommended it, and I dropped your name, and he was like, yeah, let's try to find something else.
She's like, how about anything else?
Yeah, anything else than that. But I'm gonna watch it. Can you answer me this? You haven't seen The Wire.
No.
Okay, can you answer me this? There's this joke made, and I'm butchering the joke. But anyway, do you know what's a plural for pussy? It's pussy.
Pussy?
I'm butchering the joke, but my point here is that it's a famous line, and I just don't understand it.
Wait, that was the joke?
That was a joke, and it's fucking funny because of the. Oh, it is fucking funny, knowing the characters and because of their delivery, it's funny, but I just don't understand the joke itself.
Hold on, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
That's the joke. What's the plural for pussy? It's pussy.
Yeah,
And that's the joke.
yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna look it up in YouTube and then
Okay,
we can
please.
analyze it because I don't get it. I think it's fucking funny.
Pussy.
Plural.
Pussy. Is it the way they say it?
I'm gonna find it out and then you can.
You gonna play a little audio for us?
Yeah, it's because I'm butchering the joke. So
I mean, maybe it goes down to what we're talking about, the delivery. Maybe the delivery makes the joke.
Yeah. That could very much be. Oh, here we go.
Dropping one of Marcus. And again, if he's dead, where's that body?
You know what the plural of pussy is? Pussy. Jimmy taught me that.
Where's he putting the body from, huh?
Did you get that?
To be fair,
And again, if he's dead, where's that body?
You know what the plural of pussy is? Pussy. Jimmy taught me that.
Where's he putting the body?
to be fair, his delivery is pretty funny. Okay.
It is, right? And then when you know the character, it's even more funnier.
Okay. Yeah, I think that it was funny in that clip. Yeah.
But what does it mean?
That's the thing, right? What did no fucking idea. But did it make you laugh the first time you heard it?
Ooh, it makes me laugh every time I watch it.
There you go. Well, then that's all you need to know. Then it's like, why does it have to mean something? If it makes you laugh, don't jump down. Speaking of which we're not speaking of, it's Saturday today.
Yeah, that's true. We did speak about what day it is today.
We did. And normally it would mean a new Edward video.
Which there will be.
There would be?
There will be. I did say that I'm gonna bi-weekly, but I was like, okay, I'm quite busy now, so I'm just gonna push this one episode out, and then I'm gonna have a quite long hiatus.
Okay.
So I'm gonna finish it today, and then I'm gonna take X weeks holiday, maybe months, just because I don't have the time.
That's fair.
Also, I'm gonna do a commercial for my sister and her friend's company.
A real life commercial?
Yeah.
Okay.
They,
What's it gonna be?
I'm gonna film some nature, and then I'm gonna go to film some empty construction
Okay.
sites. Construction sites, that's the word I'm looking for. And that's gonna be enough.
All right.
I could have used stock footage. I think it would be much easier and simpler for me, but it's not that fun.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna film myself.
Speaking of stock footage, I recently saw a tweet from David F. Sandberg, and they were actually discussing something. There's this menu called The Menu. This movie called The Menu.
Yeah?
Do you see it?
Yeah, it's a very great film.
Yeah, it's a fun one. The very
Fun one, okay.
I liked it. The very first shot, the very first opening shot of the movie.
Yeah.
It's stock footage.
Okay.
And people on Twitter were almost like, haha, gotcha, And a bunch of the directors came out and said, no, we use stock footage all the time
Right.
in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, as in like David F. Sandberg, he said like in Shazam, both the first and the second one, a lot of the maybe like a footage of the city and time lapses and stuff like that. It's just stock,
Right.
a stock that you can
Yeah.
go by yourself, the same
Right.
footage.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of funny to think about that.
It is.
You know, major movies. I think there was the trailer of a major movie, might have been something with Marvel, and in the trailer itself, I saw also people like, oh wait, that's literally a stock footage of a city.
Yeah, that's funny. And also, like, what I find funny is the kind of gotcha attitude.
Yeah.
You use stock footage here,
It's
gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
so what?
Yeah, it's the thing. I think it's just like a different way to, like, they're just like, okay, here's the same thing. Do you remember when first Avatar came out?
Yeah.
And people were like writing out, like in the internet, like how it was just a ripoff of Pocahontas, and you know, and it was kind of, the tone was like, oh, it's a ripoff of Pocahontas. I'm not gonna watch Avatar because it's a ripoff of Pocahontas, and like, why couldn't they come up with something original? And I'm like, it's just, I think that comes out from the place because people are aware of how it works. I mean, like, everything is done like
Everything is a
this.
ripoff.
It's always like, it's already like it's already included when the like writers are pitching this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to the studio saying like, we're gonna make a film that is a combination of this and this film, like Titanic and Interstellar.
Yeah, Titanic meets yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they are like very aware of it. That's the whole point. It's like they take concept that work and then just like find a new way to tell it.
Exactly. That's how Strange Things got made.
Right,
The
right,
writers,
right.
they pitched it as literally a bunch of Spielberg movies meets this, meets that.
Right. And it's not a secret.
Not
And I
a
feel
secret.
like people think that they're trying to hide it, but the filmmakers are not even trying to hide it. It's like they take like Bill Murray, the
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, right?
Yeah.
That concept has been used over and over
Yeah.
and over again, and it's not even. I think nobody is even trying to keep it as a secret. But
It's-
still, there is this like,
yeah.
gotcha.
There's the Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Right,
Same
exactly.
concept. Nobody
100%
cares.
same concept,
It's
yeah.
still a nice movie, right?
Exactly.
It's almost saying like, oh, you have two characters fall in love. Oh, that's been done already.
Right.
It's like, no, it's a
Right.
completely new take on it.
Yeah, right? Or Interstellar. When you boil down, it's just a film about father and daughter and family and their love to each other. That's what it is. The
Yeah.
whole fucking space thing is just a vehicle to tell the story, but like, you could have just made a different background. Like, that's the whole point of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And how many films there are that are about father and daughter or family and the love? Like, hundreds and thousands. Like,
Yeah. And you're very right about that. Sometimes people just pitch it as in like, think this, but that. As in
Yeah.
like Interstellar, but with submarines underwater.
yeah. Right. Yeah.
And that's enough for you to get it. So no secret. And going back to that stock footage, the only reason people found out about it is because the cinematographer himself made a tweet about it,
Yeah.
thinking it's funny because if you really look at it, the stock footage, it's the very beginning opening shot when she lights up a cigarette,
yeah.
and we get a close-up of it, and then it cuts to a wide shot of her smoking the cigarette, and the close-up is inside the building.
Oh, really?
But the outside shot is she's outside, and no one noticed.
Right.
I didn't notice. No
Okay.
one noticed. So the only reason anyone noticed is because the cinematographer pointed it out. So it's not really a gotcha.
Right. Yeah. Right. Definitely. Not. Yeah. The same applies to stock footage as well. But I think we are just not used to the idea of using stock footage and everything should be original.
Yeah,
which
it's
I don't
it's
agree.
almost like like, oh, you're cheating. Use
Yeah.
the stock footage. But I was actually thinking from the other side of the story. Imagine you're the actual stock photographer, just going to the cinema to see a movie, and it's like, wait, that's my fucking shot.
Right.
That must be really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he would know. Like from his end, I don't know if he's using Getty images or whatever. It's like, oh, someone bought your stock footage. Cool,
Right.
you're getting paid. You don't really know what they're using it for, or who is it, or anything like that.
Mm.
So I just love the idea of someone going to the cinema and just seeing their own shot
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
That must be cool.
That must be cool. And they're getting paid for it. I don't know if it's good money or not, but they are getting paid. And I could very well use stock footage. I think it would be much easier. I could get much better shots. It's just not that fun for me, so I think that's why I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. I also admit sometimes I could have used stock footage, but I said like, nah, I should get it myself. I also have a little bit of this mindset, which is again not the right mindset, I think. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, I should get it myself. Like, for example, in the latest video that maybe by the time this podcast is out is hopefully not my latest video, but the video I did with reading an old magazine, at the very end there is a little bit of a 100 year in the future, a post-apocalyptic kind of situation. And I was going to use an establishing stock footage shot of maybe the Earth looking very post-apocalyptic or something like that. Then I opt out for it, and then I wanted to shoot something myself. I couldn't really figure that one out, so I just did something else. But I could have totally used the stock footage.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Right. And you would still, by doing that, you would still like learn about filmmaking and editing and stuff like that. But if you want to actually, I think there's a bigger learning if you film it yourself. So there's definitely reason to film it yourself if you want to.
That's a good argument. Yeah, if you film it yourself, you actually learn a lot more because you decide how you want to frame it,
exactly
how you want to film it. It's a lot more to it. Yeah. And stock footage might not necessarily be lazy, but it is easy.
It's easy, yeah. That's exactly. I wouldn't say that it's definitely not lazy. It is just easy.
Yeah.
So if you one day want to actually tell a story yourself using real actors saying, real things, then you cannot definitely rely on stock footage as it is now because, that's not existing already. So if you have been using stock footage throughout your whole life, then it's a completely new situation when you're actually filming actors doing something completely original that has not been recorded before.
This just gave me an idea.
Yeah?
Brilliant idea, if I had to say so myself. Get the images, if you're listening. Artlist, all those stock footage websites, if you're listening, here's my pitch. We make a short film only of stock footage. And we have to find a way to make it fully work.
Yeah.
Make perfect sense, everything works, and we're only allowed to use stock footage. If there's people, if there's any situation, close-ups, establishing shots, anything, it has to be a stock footage. So one of those websites comes to us and say, hey, our full library, full access, do whatever you want, make a short film with stock footage on there.
That's a very good idea. It's actually so good idea that I would be surprised if nobody has done it.
Yeah, we should check if someone has done it already.
That could be.
Yeah.
That works very well.
Cool. Should I show you some content?
Should we stop now?
Nice.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.